Hey everyone, and welcome to IG8Live Esports once again with another stream here. We're live with PGL F1 Racing League, the Sunday division here right now, getting started with round 14 of 23 for the Canadian Grand Prix. So we got about 15 drivers on the grid there at the moment as we're getting started with the qualifying 18 minutes long for the session, and we got drivers already heading out on track. So let's get a few stats up on screen. In the meanwhile, guys, welcome to all of you who are joining on the stream with us. Please make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you are new on here, and we're hoping to have a few more drivers join on the session hopefully before we get to the end of qualifying itself. So let's see how that's gonna go. We're gonna see who is currently out on track. I see Vans Racing already on his outlap. Let's have a look at him here in the Haas getting started. Always a fun race here at Canada, so let's see how that's gonna work out for the drivers and what the qualifying lap times are gonna be looking like here at the end of Q1. So should prove to be an interesting session. Always is on every Sunday that we do have the stream with these guys here. Unfortunately, we're not currently able to make the Wednesday division stream. Do apologize about that, but a few things coming in the way of that. Hopefully we will be able to make at least some of them before the season ends off, and we'll see what we can do for the next season coming up on that. But for the moment, I know we'll be able to make the Sunday stream, so let's keep on going with that. And let's see what's going to happen. So a few drivers out on track right now getting started on the hot laps here on the out lap still for their current session. So let's see what the lap times are going to look like. We should be seeing probably about a minute 10, maybe a minute 9, minute 11. I'm averaging on what the driver's skill level should be at here. We'll see how fast they're going to go. Maybe a minute 8 seconds around the track as well. We'll see how it goes. Probably a 30-something lap for this race. I'm not 100% sure about that. We'll see how it goes. So just under 16 minutes left now. Time is going pretty quickly on this one. It does look a slightly bit cloudy on track here. So we'll see how that works out. Dan Murphy retiring off of the session pretty off early. I'm not sure if he was out or just retired out. Probably had a quali ban. I'm not sure. We'll see how that's going to work out for him. But yep, so far so good. Let's see. We got few drivers on their hot laps getting around right now. We'll see where Vans Racing go after he finishes off this current lap. We might see a few invalidated laps here on this track as well, as it's a bit easy to actually do that sometimes here at Canada. So we'll see how it goes. Everything's going to be purple off here for Vans Racing, of course, because he's going to be probably one of the 4 drivers to set a lap time. I think there may be a driver or 2 in front of him. We'll see how it's going for them. And about to get across the line here, so let's see where he goes on the grid and what sort of lap times we're going to be seeing. So this is Vans Racing with a 1:12.6 so far. Not too bad of a lap time. Let's see who is going to be next to get across the line here. Mikey on a hot lap, running there in sector 2 as it is right now. So let's keep an eye on him and see who's going to get across the line. Trying to avoid that invalidated lap, and there we go. Leclerc goes 1:09 across the line in the racing points, so not too bad of a lap time so far. We're getting a bit more faster on track. Vans Racing's gonna have to turn it up a notch to get a better lap time in if he wants to make it over to their next sessions as well. We're only 15 drivers in, so hopefully everyone should make it over there. But hopefully we do have some more drivers join on before the session ends off. We'll see how that works out. Alright, so Mikey about to get across the line here right now. Where does he go? And goes 1:09.9. Not too bad of a time. Where is Ethan on track here right now? Running in sector 2. Let's see who else goes across the line in front of him. I know a few more drivers are on track. Serious Mushroom, a new driver for me, I would say. I haven't seen him race before, so I'll see how he performs here today. So far so good. We can't say not disappointed with the lap times. Those 1:09s are pretty impressive. 1:09.3, 1:09.9. Leclerc and Mikey so far. Serious Mushroom goes 1:10.6. Not too bad. Let's see who is going to be the next driver to get a lap time in. We do have Ethan getting across the line here pretty soon. Hopefully he makes his final turn pretty well. Avoids the wall of champions and gets on through to the pit straight. Let's see where he goes. Goes across the line here right now and goes fastest in the session at 1:08.9. Impressive lap time off of Ethan there so far in the Alfa Romeo. So not too bad with the lap time. Looking to get a pretty good time in. Where is Walker? Walker goes 1:37.3. Not a good lap from him. Might have messed that up at some point. He's going to try and get a better lap in. Mr. Rage here in sector 2 at the moment. In the next Alfa Romeo. Let's see where he goes after this current lap that he's on. Surprisingly, I haven't really noticed any drivers invalidating laps as yet. That's for drivers that we've been following at least. So let's see how he's going to go for Mr. Rage. I think that's Neil long in the back there. So a pretty fast track here. So that's why we do have some exciting lap times as well. Let's see where Mr. Rage is going to go as he finishes off this lap. Someone that's joined on the session though, because we got 16 drivers in there right now. Hopefully more join on as we get further down in qualifying. And Mr. Rage goes across the line here right now and goes P6, 1:11.06 in. Not too bad of a lap time. Red Devil on a lap here right now. Let's see where he's going to go. His teammate Leclerc is over the 1:09 in second so far. Mikey out of the session, unfortunately. I think he might have retired in a bit. I'm not sure what happened with him there. Might just be happy with that 109.9 and knows that nobody's really going to be beating that probably, because he knows that's going to get him over to the next session either way. So might not be really fighting it off too much in qualifying one. We got just about 11.5 minutes left in Q1 as well, so let's walk through that and see how it's going to go. Red Devil currently in sector 2 and getting a wrong. I think he might have, not sure who else is running a lap right now. Sofdar there is running a lap, just had a race with him as well, had a pretty good racer there. Let's see how he performs in this session here. I see Vintage went 1:10.076, not too bad with that lap time. Ethan has retired as well from the session. Pretty happy with his time, I guess. And we got Red Devil going across the line with a 1:11.4, puts him in P7 for now. Where is Sofdar on track here and Maddie here? Getting started with his lap pretty shortly there. Sofdar going across the line, and let's see, does he get a lap thing? Oh, I think he's getting started in his hot lap now. So we're going to follow on with DXT Maddie here. Oh, that is an unfortunate situation there for the Ferrari driver Maddie. Into the wall he goes. And well, luckily enough, he doesn't lose the car. Just loses the front wing. So he's going to have to just go get some repair done on that. And then get back out on track. And hopefully gets a lap time in to make it, keep it in the session here. Let's see if that's going to work for him. Where is Sofdar on track at the moment? Let's have a look where he's going. And welcome to Vintage onto the live chat there. Vintage currently P4 to 1:10.076. An impressive lap time. That's going to hold him up pretty well there. And that's an invalidated lap from Sofdar so far. Okay, we got Nick starting a hot lap right now. Beefy looks like he's going to be getting started pretty soon here as well. Going to keep an eye to see what that's going to be looking like. Walker needs to get an improved lap time in here. So let's see what that's going to work for him. So far so good in the qualifying session. We got some pretty impressive lap times. So it's going pretty well. 9.5 minutes now left in the session, so not too bad. Purple sectors coming off of Nick there. Maddie back into the pits getting his car repaired. That's a purple sector 2 as well off of Nick, so looks like he's on for a pretty good lap here. Might just be able to pull it across better than a 108.9 than what Ethan did. Let's see what that's going to work for him. Uses a lot of that curb, cutting it pretty close off to the Wall of Champions there. Gets across the line. P3 only there, 109.4, but not a bad time. It's actually pretty impressive. Let's see what that's going to work out for him. Beefy here on a lap right now in Sector 3, about to finish this off. I think Sofdar might be behind. Yep, Sofdar is behind him. So let's see where he goes as he gets across the line in just a bit here. And goes P2, 109.2, not a bad time. Where is Sofdar going? And Sofdar goes now P2, pushes Beefy down, 108.9, pushes Beefy down to P3. Very impressive with the lap times. Ethan still holds on to fastest time in the session though, so not too bad with that. Scooby here in 14th, no lap time for him as yet. He's going to get started on another lap here right now. Let's see if that's going to go for him. And his teammate Mikey already out of the session there in P6 at a 109.9. Red Devil has retired from the session. He's pretty happy at the time, I guess, at 111. knowing the numbers we have, they're not too keen on getting more laps in as yet. I think they're going to fight it off. More interesting it's going to be there in qualifying 2 and 3, where definitely they do need to make their better lap times in to get off to the next session. So let's see how that's going to work for them. Alright, so let's go on board right now with Scooby, see where he's going to go at the end of this lap. So Ethan still holds on to fastest lap in the session, 108.9. Salvador second fastest, 108.972. It's about a hundredth of a second slower, so still pretty impressive between the two of them, and he's retired off the session already. Most of the drivers are off of the session. We got Maddie and Neil trying to get laps in there on the out laps again there. So Scooby did a 111.6, so that's going to hold off for him. What's is currently running? Vans Racing might be running a lap here again. Let's see how that's working out so far. I think so far so good, but most of our drivers are retiring off of the session, being our numbers are just about 16 on the grid here right now. As I said, they're not too keen about getting the best laps in. They're just trying to get a lap in to make it over to Q2, and I think should be our top 15 going over to that session. So looks like it's just going to be one driver out, so getting into the 108s, 109s and 110s are not too worried about getting off the session. That is Vans Racing maxing that lap up just a bit there. We got Neil and Maddie on hot laps here right now. I think we got Maddie in front of Neil here, so let's see how the laps are going for them. Alright, so let's see, Maddie's about to go across the line here, and he goes 8 fastest, 110.1, not too bad with the time. Neil gets a time in as well, goes 10th, 111.043, not too bad by the time. Walker and Dan Murphy were out. Dan Murphy looks like he's going to be out of the qualifying 2 session, as it is there. So it looks like everyone else should be in that session as it is, because he's already out. So no way that he's possibly going to get a better time than that what he currently has. That's a purple sector 2 coming off of Serious Mushroom there right now. Let's see if he's doing an improved lap here or not. Gonna just step away from the mic for just a second, guys. I'll be back on in just a bit here. Alright guys, back on there, sorry about that. So 3.5 minutes left here in qualifying 1. As it is, Ethan still holding on to the fastest lap. Salvador still second with his 108.972. Beefy in third now, 109.221. Leclerc fourth into the pits. Nick there fifth. Serious Mushroom sixth. Mikey seventh. Vintage currently 8th. And on another out lap, so he's trying to get a better lap in. Let's see if he's going to work out with that. And Maddie there in the pits back in 9th right now. Neil there 10th. Mr. Rage 11. Red Devil 12. Scooby 13. Vans Racing 14. Walker in 15th. And Dan Murphy looks like he will be out of qualifying 2. Hopefully Walker does make it in, because Dan Murphy was out pretty early on that session. So let's see what's going to happen with that situation there. Vintage seems to be on a pretty good lap here to finish this one off, so let's see how that's going to work. 2.5 minutes left, just under 2.5 minutes. Oh, and I might have spoken a bit too soon about that one, so messed that lap up. I think that's probably going to be it for him because he's going to get back into the pits there now, and that's going to be it. Who else is currently running? Leclerc in the pits, Scooby in the pits, Vans Racing in the pits, so no one else is currently running a lap. Can everyone else probably just retire off the session and let's get this over with? And let's get on over to qualifying 2. There we go, Scooby Hortman on that one. Hopefully Vans Racing and Leclerc and Vintage just retire off the session so we can just get on over to the next session. It doesn't look like that's going to go anywhere further than what it is there right now. That's going to be the grid or the 4 qualifying 1 results. So we're just going to wait for these guys to get off the session and we can just get on over to Q2 here right now. Okay, so we're just waiting for Vans Racing and Leclerc to retire off of the session so we can move on to the next session. Really no point keeping in this one because everyone that's basically has retired. No one else will be able to do a lap time. Just 1 minute left here in qualifying 1 and that's it. Waiting for Vans Racing to just retire there off now and we should be getting over to the next qualifying session. Once again, guys, welcome to all of you who are currently joining on the stream here with us live. Thank you guys for joining. Make sure you guys do leave a like on the stream. Really does help us out. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. If you haven't done so already, make sure you guys do that. But just make sure you do leave a like on the stream and not have to switch anywhere else because Vans Racing is not retiring off of the session. Why is he waiting for 30 something seconds or so? I'm not sure. Why is he waiting? Can someone get him to retire off of the session so we can get on this and get moving? Glad you're enjoying it there, Serious Mushroom. Good to have you in the session as well. Let's see how the race is going to go. Alright guys, so qualifying 1 results for the Canadian Grand Prix so far for PGL F1 Racing League Sunday division. Looks like we have 18 with the fastest lap here in Q1 at 108.968. Savdar second fastest lap at 108.972. We got Beefy third fastest lap at 109.221. Then we got Leclerc in 4th. We got Nick there 5th. Serious Mushroom there in 6th, Mikey 7th, we got Vintage in 8th, Maddie there 9th, Neil in 10th, Mr. Rage 11th, Red Devil 12th, Scooby 13, Vans Racing 14, Walker in 15, and Dan Murphy is going to have to start the race in 16. So our top 15 drivers are now going to be making it on over to qualifying 2, which is where it gets interesting. So whatever tires they do their fastest laps on there in Q2, they will have to start the race on that set tires, provided of course they make it over to qualifying 1 and it is a tri-race start. So let's see if that situation will stand at this point. And heading on over into qualifying 2 right now, where we're going to start 15 minutes on the clock and get started with that session. There we go, the clock has gotten started already. So let's get a few stats up on screen. We're going to keep this on to best so we can see what tires these guys are doing their best laps on and have an idea of what tires they're going to have to be starting the race on there itself. So going to be a bit interesting here in qualifying 2. They're going to have to actually put a lot more effort than what they did there in let's call qualifying 1 the lazy qualifying session for this evening here for the PGL F1 Racing League. That was an extremely lazy racing set of lap times that they did because they really didn't fight it off too much. They did get some good lap times in, but honestly I think they really didn't fight it too much because they know we're just 16 drivers in the session and that 15 will be making it on over to qualifying 2. So they just made a lap time in just to make it on over to the next session. As we can see, they didn't really have to push much effort into the end of the session with the numbers that they have. So qualifying 2, they're now going to be forced to actually put some work in and get some extremely good lap times in. We got a few cars getting out on track already, and let's see how that's going to go off with them. I think Vans Racing might be the first car out. Yes, he is. So let's have a look on him and his out lap here right now. But yeah, it should be an interesting session to see how this is going to go here from qualifying 2 onwards. Anyone watching the stream, don't watch qualifying 1. It was not that interesting. The lap times were actually pretty good, though. I gotta say, it was actually pretty impressive. The lap times that they did get, at least for the top few guys, getting into those 108s, that was quite impressive. So hopefully they can do a repeat of that and get more drivers into that there as well. So we'll see how that goes. And hopefully we have some more drivers I see joining the session. Hopefully they're joining on to get onto the race session before we finish up qualifying. Provided they join before that time ends, they should be able to get into the race. We should have maybe about 18 drivers in the race. Hopefully, we can just hope for that. Let's see how, I didn't really have a look on how many drivers checked in, but we're going to see how it goes by the time we get to the end of qualifying. So on our hot lap with Vans Racing here right now in the Haas, going around, all going to be purple. Of course, first lap to be set by him. Needs to avoid invalidating the lap. Of course, Haas drivers coming behind of him as well. So, going to be a bit interesting. I think between him, Red Devil, and Leclerc are going to be the first few drivers to set lap times in here. So, let's see how well this is going to go for them. And some very, very good advice coming off of Serious Mushroom there in the chat. Anyone joining on, don't forget their setups before the race start. Very, very important, because if they do forget the setups, they're going to go on presets. And but we all know that doesn't work as well as we expect them. Vans Racing going back into the pits, not finishing that lap. Where is Leclerc right now? Still there in Sector 1 right now, now getting up on his lap. So who else is currently running a lap? I think Mikey is running one. Where is Red Devil? Red Devil has invalidated his lap right now, so that's not going to be finishing. Get on over to, where is Mikey? Mikey might be the first driver to set a lap time in. Let's have a look on how his lap is going. So definitely looking to see what these lap times are about to be like. Let's see what's going to happen here. Alright, so Mikey about to get across the line here right now. Let's see how fast he's going to go. Probably 109, and does a 109.6. Not too bad with the lap time. Did that on the softs as well. And it looks like everyone's trying to run the time laps on the softs here right now, as you can see. So we're going to see how that's going to work out. Where is Leclerc? Trying to get another lap going, not getting a good run there right now. Where is Ethan on track? Following with Ethan right now, getting through Sector 3. Alright, so let's see where he's going to go on track. Had the fastest time there in Q1, Ethan. So let's see if he's going to get it again here in Q2. High expectations here right now. Needs to perform very well here for the team as well. His team, Mr. Rage, will need to get a better lap. Oh, we got somebody down. I think that's his teammate down in the back. And he gets a 109.8 so far. On the mediums, he's doing this. So let's see if that's going to work out for him. Where is his teammate right now? His teammate is back into the pits. I think he's in the pits. So who was running behind of him? I'm not sure who that was. Where is Sabdar on track right now? So Sabdar running here in Sector 1. Trying to get a lap in. Might have been him having some trouble down at the back. Who knows? Anyway, he's getting through this lap pretty well so far. So let's see how that's going to go. Once again, guys, and that's him into the wall. Softer, unfortunately, causing some damage to that Haas. He's going to have to get that repaired. Has less than 10 minutes left in the session right now. Needs to get on that very, very quickly and get that car repaired and back out on track if he can. Serious Mushroom here on and he validated that lap. So we're going to have to try that again, unfortunately. Vans Racing on another outlap. Vintage on an outlap. Let's see how that's going with him. He's going to get started on that lap pretty soon. As we were saying, guys, we're going to be trying to get back on our regular schedule with streaming pretty soon for this week. We're easing back into it for this week at least. And going. So, not League will be streaming for tomorrow to see how that goes. If all goes well, we'll probably see how it goes for the future races onwards. With that, for the Mondays, we'll see how it goes. Our Tuesdays are a bit off right now because that season not finished. For the F2 League, we usually take care of there. If we're free on the Wednesday, we're probably doing some Wednesday stream as well. I'm not sure what's happening on Wednesday as yet in terms of my schedule, so we'll see how that goes. Thursdays are obviously going to be off. Fridays might be off, or probably look at something to do on Fridays as well. I'll see. And I think we're getting set up with one of my good friends to a league on Saturdays. Gonna be a bit early on with that as well, but I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. But looking to get something done on Saturdays as well. We'll see what options we do have. Anyone having an option to just shoot it over to me. We can probably have a look at it. Maybe do 2 streams on Saturdays as well. Probably be a weekend thing, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, so Vintage should be finishing up this lap here pretty soon. Still only have 3 laps in so far in the session. We got down to about 8 minutes left here in qualifying 2. We only have 3 laps in. Mikey fastest lap at 109.6. Eden second fastest at 109.8 on the medium, so that's quite impressive. Vans Racing at 111.9 third, and Leclerc now fourth at 113.1. So let's see who's getting the next lap in. And that is Vintage going third fastest at 110.4. Not too bad of a time. That's quite impressive. That's going to work pretty well so far. That's on the medium, so that is why it's quite impressive. Beefy on a lap here right now. Nick on a lap. Where's the rest of the drivers on track right now? Neil on a lap. Mr. Rage on a lap. Let's see how that's going to go through. We're going to follow on with Beefy right now. He's about to finish off this lap. We do expect we might see a safety car or VSC in this race coming up very soon, so we'll see how that's going to go. BG goes across the line here right now. Where does he go on the grid? Goes fastest in the session at 109.4, and on the medium, very impressive of a lap that he just did there. So Mikey's going to have to get his game up here right now and get a better lap in. Probably try that on the mediums as well. Let's have a look where he's doing. He's going to go back out on the sauce and try to get a better time in. Let's see if that's going to work for him. Going back down to Maddie here in 11th on the grid so far, trying to get a time in. We also got Mr. Rage on a lap, Serious Mushroom and Red Devil on out laps, Neil on a hot lap there as well. Red Devil just got started with his lap, so let's see how that's going to go. We're going to start to see some more and more times come in as we get further on into the session. Getting pretty close off to that wall there, so they're going to have to be a bit careful about that. Maddie getting across the line, goes 5th fastest, 110.3. Not too bad with the time. Where is the rest of our drivers? We got Mr. Rage coming across the line here right now, and where does he go? Let's have a look here right now. Goes 2nd fastest, 109.5. Puts Mikey down to 3rd now. Not too bad with the time. Scooby and Savdar. No, Savdar in the pit. Scooby getting across with lap time. A bit of time. He's still in sector 1 going. Let's have a look at Red Devil. Invalidated that lap. Unfortunately, Neil here in sector 3 trying to finish off this current lap that he's on here right now. Beefy tying up the session. He's pretty happy off with that 109.4, because that might actually hold up pretty well to go off into qualifying 3. 6 minutes left now in this session. Still a lot of time to work with. So Neil about to get across the line. Where does he go on the grid? And goes 8th fastest, 110.6. Not too bad with the time. Scooby's still on a lap here, and he's getting to sector 3 right now. Serious Mushroom, let's see where he is on track. In sector 2, I'm going to follow on with this. Let's see where he can put this car on the grid. Walker out of the session, unfortunately. So it looks like he's going to be out of qualifying 3. Anyway, let's see how Serious Mushroom's time is going to go. Oh, Mikey now goes fastest in the session. 109.1. 3/10 faster than Beefy's time, so that's quite impressive. But that's still on a soft tire, but still a pretty good lap. But most of you guys seem to be running on a strategy to start the race on the medium tires as it is. Serious Mushroom goes across the line. 6th fastest on the mediums, 109.9. Very impressive lap time. Let's go down to Red Devil down here at the bottom here. He's trying to get a time in. Is he going fast at all? I'm not sure. He's going fast. Let's see where he goes when he does get across the line though. And he's doing this on the medium, so let's see where he goes and gets across the line here right now. Goes 11 fastest only, 112.2, and that's not going to hold off too well. We need a top 10 only to go over into qualifying 3, so needs to get a better time in if he can. I think Mushroom trying to get back into the pits there right now. Going back down to Scooby here, invalidated the current lap. So Red Devil going to go back into the pits probably there. So we got Red Devil, Scooby, Leclerc, Savdar to get knocked off of qualifying 3. We're getting into qualifying 3 there. So let's see how that's going to work. We already know Walker's going to get knocked off of that. Beefy is down to 2nd on the grid with his lap time 109.4. Savdar on another out lap right now trying to improve his time. Well, trying to get a time in at least. See Leclerc already on another outlap there as well. So definitely they're going to try to improve their time as much as they can. Mikey and Beefy both retired from the session. Serious Mushroom retired from the session. Down there in 6th. That 109.9 should be good enough to get him over into qualifying 3 as it is. So we're going to see how that's going to work. Leclerc and Sofdar here. Let's see how that's working out for them. Sofdar getting it wrong. He's about to get started on his outlap here. And I think he's trying to do this on the mediums. As we can see there, he's on the medium tires. So he's about to get started on that lap there right now. We're going to have a look on board with Salvador actually and see how his current lap around Canada here is going to go. As you can see, a pretty short run getting down into turn 1 and turn 2. A quick swift turn around there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the race start is going to go with that. We got about 2.5 minutes left here in qualifying 2 to finish this off. Most of our drivers at the top of the grid are now retiring off as they're pretty happy with their lap times. So just the drivers on the bottom of the grid are trying to fight their way through to make sure that they do keep themselves into qualifying 3. So let's see if that's going to work for them. And Sofdar are definitely trying to get a better lap in, but he might have just lost about a tenth or 2 there on that previous sector. So let's see what's working out. No purple sector so far. But he does need to get himself into the top 10, so he needs to get a 110 and better right about now. At least a 110.5 would do it just about this point here right now, because we do have Leclerc on the lap as well. Red Devil is out, so just Scooby, Leclerc, and Sofdar down at the bottom 5 running. One that's an invalidated lap, unfortunately, and that's Neil out of the session there. So he's not going to be able to get that lap in, and not going to be able to get this lap either, since he's invalidated so close off to the finish line. And let's see, he's going to be able to start down there in 14. Looks like it. We got Leclerc about to finish off this lap here. Let's see if he's going to get a better time. And then a 1:13.1. The only other car running, no other car is actually running, so he just needs to get a better time than 1:10.6, and he can actually get up into the top 10. Let's see, does he do it? At 1:09.5 puts him up into P3 on the grid, and does it for him. That's going to put him up into qualifying 3. So it looks like Vans Racing, Red Devil, Scooby, Sofdar, and Walker are going to be out of qualifying 3. Neil barely making it over there with a 1:10.6. Not too bad with the time though. So let's see if that's going to work out. Fastest time in the session was Mikey there with a 1:09.1. So very interesting lap time from him. I don't think anyone else is still running. Sofdar might still be running a lap, but that's not a hot lap he's running. Because, well, actually, will he be able to get another lap started? Let's have a look at him here right now. So he's trying to get another lap started on this same set of tires. Probably, let's have a look. Or is he going to go into the pits? Actually, he's going to try to get a lap started. He has enough time to get it done. 30 seconds left in the session, and he's going to get across the line in time to get one more lap started here and have a go at it. Let's see if Sofdar is able to get himself into qualifying 3. This is going to push Neil out of the top 10 if he does get a faster time in. So he does have to avoid invalidating this lap. I just needs to get a 1:10.5, and that's just about going to do it for him. I just need to get anything faster than a 1:10.6, and we'll get it if he does get that even. So let's see where it goes. So qualifying 2 is officially over here right now. We're just following on with Sofdar on his final lap around the track to try and get himself over into qualifying 3 if he can. He needs to avoid invalidating the lap here right now. A few more turns to go in sector 3 now. Just needs to keep this as clean as possible and as fast as possible to get around the track. Just about one more major turn to get around through, to get on back to that pit straight, and he can get across the line and possibly get a good time in here. Let's see how this is going to go. This is going to be quite close to see if Neil is going to be able to make it over into Q3. And he does make it across without invalidating. He's going to go across the line here right now. Let's see how fast he is going to get this time in though. At 1:10, and that's quite close. I don't think he made it. I think that was a 1:10.8. And that was 11 for him. Did improve it, get a good timing, but still not enough. At 1:10.8, I think it was. I'm not sure. Let's have a look here right now and see what that was for him. So it was a 1:10.8. So qualifying 2 results. We got Mikey fastest lap 1:09.1. We got Beefy second fastest 1:09.4. We got Leclerc third fastest 1:09.5.59. Mr. Rage fourth fastest at 109.584. Nick there, fifth fastest. Eaton sixth. Serious Mushroom 7, Maddie 8, Vintage there 9th, and that's our top 9 only making it over to qualifying 3. Neil unfortunately doesn't look like he's making it over. He's going to start in 10th. Softar starts 11th. We got Vans Racing starting 12th, 13th for Red Devil, 14th for Scooby, and 15th for Walker on the grid. Actually, so let's head on over to qualifying 3, see what that is going to be looking like. 2 drivers did that on the soft, the rest on the mediums for the top 10, for top 9, sorry, going over to Q3 there. As we have, so let's have a look on how that session is going to work out. Hopefully we do have some more drivers join on before we get onto the race here. Alright guys, into Q3 here right now, already starting our 12 minutes for qualifying 3. We got 9 drivers in the session. Let's see how this is going to work out. And everyone's going to try for the fastest possible lap. Let's see who's going to be starting on pole, who's going to start second, and where the rest of the grid going downwards as we have it. We know everyone's going to be running on the soft tires, so no need to have that on. We do have Beefy already getting out on track very, very early. First car to get out. And we're going to start to see some lap times coming here very, very quickly as well. So let's see if that's going to work out. Once again, welcome to everyone who's currently joining on the stream here live with us to watch on with this race session coming up in about 11 minutes. Just have to finish our qualifying 3. Welcome to all of you guys. Please make sure you guys leave a like on the stream and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. Do appreciate you guys doing all of that. Does help us out a lot. Quite a few cars already out on track. I think everyone's going to get up pretty early with just about a total of 12 minutes for this session. They're going to have to get a move on with it, try to get the best possible time in and avoid any invalidated laps here right now, or actually account for that and try and make sure they have enough time to get a good lap in to get the best possible qualifying time right now. So Beefy will be the first car to get started on a hot lap. And I think he has the racing point of Leclerc coming behind of him for his hot lap there as well. So all 9 cars, sorry, out on track here right now, running pretty well so far. Let's see how the hot laps are going to be going here right now as they're about to get started on that. And if all goes well, Beefy should be the first car to put a lap time in. I see Leclerc starts behind him. Eaton goes behind that, so that these are first 3 cars to be putting a lap time in. Let's see how that's going to work for them. Everything's going to be purple off here for Beefy, of course, because first car to set a time. Mr. Rage is going to be the 4th car to set a time in if all goes well with the laps. So we're getting up pretty close after that race start coming up very, very soon, which we're all looking forward to see how that race start is going to go. I think we should have about 17 drivers in the race total. Maybe 18, I'm not sure. Let's see how that's going to go. Do expect to see some pretty fast times here as well, so let's see how that's going to work out. They will have at least a chance to do maybe about 2 rounds or 3 rounds of laps here before the end of the session, depending on how fast they get back on track to do this, or how much laps they actually run on a set of tires. So we got Beefy about to get across the line here right now. Let's see where he goes. So 108.9 from Beefy so far. Leclerc coming across the line here right now. Goes second with a 109.2. We got Ethan should be coming across next. He validated a lap, so he's not going to be the next driver coming across. Should be Mr. Rage getting around here right now. So Ethan will have to do another lap on those same set of tires to try and get a lap in. That's Mr. Rage going fastest now, 108.7. Nick goes 108.9. And I think Serious Mushroom is the next driver to come across the line here. And Nick goes into 3rd with that time. Serious Mushroom goes 5th right now, 109.8. Maddie goes across the line right now, 110.3. Mikey on an outlap still. Vintage should be the next driver coming across. Oh, and he invalidated a lap, unfortunately, so he's going to have to try that again. Mikey goes 109.4 so far. 18 on another lap on that same set of tires. So let's see how he's going to go with this lap. She's about to get across the line here once again. Should be getting this lap as a good one. Let's see how fast he does go. Goes a 108.9. Goes into second with that behind his teammate there. About 2 tenths down, so not too bad of a time. And about 6 of a second faster than what Beefy did. So very impressive so far. Yet Vintage should be the next one to make a lap time. Let's see how his lap is currently going. And welcome to Beefy in the live chat there. Glad to have him on there as well. Very good time from him, but currently down to third. So quite sure he's going to get out back before the end of the session. We got just about 7 minutes left in qualifying 3. So it's going pretty well so far. Lap times are quite competitive on the grid as we have it. Top 4 in the 108s. Next 4 in the 109s. And Maddie there in 110. So Vintage goes 109.9 into 8 so far on the grid with that. So far so good as we have it. So we're still running on track right now. I think everyone's trying to get back into the pits as it is there right now. I'm going to be getting out for a second round of laps here. So that's going to be used up for the next 6.5 minutes that we have left in the session. And they possibly might try for an extra lap depending on if they have the time for it. We'll see how that works. But I don't think they'll have the time to do another switch next set of tires. So everyone basically back into the pits except for Vintage right now. Finishing off his in-lap. And we're just waiting for the cars. Oh, we got Nick already getting back out on track here right now. So his teammate oh, and he takes some damage on the car, unfortunately. So that's going to be him getting back into the pits and then getting back out. Serious Mushroom promising not to do a China on Beefy. What did he do in China? I'm quite interested to know what he did in China. Was that on the Wednesday? I'm not sure. As I did miss that. Probably was there. Serious Mushroom, what did you do? I think he did something. Something happened on the previous race that he did with them. Not sure what that was. Alright, so Vintage will have to go back into the pits. Get that repaired before he gets back out. We're waiting for the next set of drivers to get back out here right now. I think we got Serious Mushroom already getting back out on track. He's been doing pretty well so far in the session, so let's see how the race session with him is going to go. Should be an interesting race start though. I got to see how the top 8, 9 drivers are going to start the race off. Especially the lap times that they are going to get. Alright, we got Ethan on the out lap there as well. Serious Mushroom on his out lap. Let's see what this is going to go down, because it's going to be quite interesting to see what the lap times are going to hold going down to the end. Currently, we got the Alfa Romeo drivers there holding on to P1, P2. So Mr. H holding on to provisional pole for the race start so far, 108.7. Let's see if anyone can get ahead of him with that. Ethan currently at 108.9. Beefy at 108.9 as well, so he's pretty close off to get past there. Also, we got Nick in the 108.9, so 3 108.9 so far, and they're not too far from here, just by a few hundred of a second. Beefy and Nick, they're just 100th of a second precisely off of each other's time, so very impressive with the lap times that they have. So we're gonna see how that works. So getting down to the end, we got Serious Mushroom getting on his hot lap here right now. We're gonna have a look on board with him, how he goes on through with this lap. Not too much pressure on him. Hopefully he doesn't invalidate the lap, and hopefully he doesn't lose the car. So far so good in the qualifying session, would say, except for the lazy qualifying 1 session we had. I'll still be mentioning that one. Was expected though, but let's see how the rest of this session goes on through. 3 minute 40 seconds left here in qualifying 3 to finish off this session. So let's see how the change up is going to happen as we get to the end here now. Also looking forward to see if we're going to have any new stats added onto spectator mode for F1 2021. I haven't heard anything being mentioned about that. Something they should have tried to improve. Give us more stats to work with. Maybe a few graphics might be different. We'll see how that's going to be. Alright, so Serious Mushroom goes across the line. Does improve his time. Goes at 109.3 now. Up to P6 he is. Ethan now fastest in the session. 108.6 ahead of his teammate now. Puts Mr. H down to second. Where's Mikey on track? He'll be getting across the line pretty soon. Let's see where he goes. Leclerc on an outlap, Vintage on an outlap. So this is going to get a bit interesting going down to the end. It's still a 1-2 start for the Alfa Romeo drivers as it is. Just a switch between them now. But Mr. Ray still in the pits. He's not getting back out on track as yet. So let's see if he does get back out, where he's going to go. And that's an invalidated lap, unfortunately, for Mikey there. Serious Mushroom getting around back into the pits. Who else is running a lap here right now? Mr. Rage on an outlap. So he's going to try and beat his teammates' time there now. Leclerc and Vintage. Let's have a look at the two of them. What's going to happen here? I think Leclerc might be getting started on his lap first, and then Vintage will be coming out behind of that. So let's see how that's going to work out. I think this is going to be quite an interesting race start with these drivers are really not too far off with the lap times off of each other here, so it's going to be quite competitive in the race. I'm quite interested to see if we're going to have a safety car or VST on the opening lap of the race. Maybe we'll not, depending on how clean that actually does go. We'll see how much drivers are really going to be pushing for positions. But here at Canada, I do expect a safety car to make an appearance. So we're going to see how well it goes. We do have another race scheduled for tomorrow to stream here, guys. And it's going to be another Canadian Grand Prix with a league we haven't done before. So we're going to see how that's going to go through. And yep, Serious Mushroom, you did lose a bit of time in the final sector. But still, not too bad for a P7 start. If he's able to hold on to that, go to the end. Let's see what that's going to be. We got Vintage and Maddie still going to try to get ahead of that. I mean, Vintage is not too far off. I think a bit of switch happening in the middle of the grid there. Maddie on a hot lap there now. Serious Mushroom has retired after session. Gonna have to take that lap time for now. No point trying to get another one in. Not enough time left. We got about 30 seconds, 35 seconds left in the session. 18th retired with his 108.6 on provisional pole with that for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. Mr. Rage, I think, is on a lap there. Let's have a look. Is he on a lap? About to finish off this lap here. Let's see if he's going to be able to increase by 2/10 or so to go ahead of his teammate and take away provisional pole start from him. And invalidates the lap. Unfortunate for Mr. Rage. Leclerc on the lap invalidates as well. So 18 is looking pretty good for that pole position start there. Beefy here coming across here. Now let's see if he's going to be getting an improved time as he gets across the line. And does he go faster? And does actually go faster. 108.5. A 10th faster than Ethan Simon. Takes away provisional pole for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. And I think that's going to be it. Nick, the only other driver left running a lap that possibly might be able to get past. Let's see if he does. So he's on his final lap. Mr. Rage, I think he validated lap, but he did. Yep. So he's not going to be able to do another lap. Leclerc is in the pits. He's done for. So that's going to be Beefy starting P1 on the grid. If all stays as it is. We still got Nick with a chance of getting past here. So he's a final driver on track, finishing off a lap right now. If he can finish his lap and get it faster than a 108.580, he can start on pole on this race. But he's retired after the session. He's out. Not getting a faster lap in. And I think that's going to be it there for the session, guys. So it looks like that's going to be the order in which we're going to be starting, at least for the top 9. We're going to have a look at the entire grid as we get on to the race session itself in just a bit. We're just waiting for all the drivers to retire off. I think it's just Mr. Rage left to retire off the session there right now. So it looks like it's going to be Beefy starting P1. Not a bad lap time in him, getting that on his final lap. So that was quite impressive. So let's see what's going to happen. Ethan there is going to have some competition getting on the opening lap to see what's going to happen between the two of them. Alright, so let's have a look at the results. So qualifying 3 results for PGL F1 Racing League for the Sunday division. Beefy will be starting on pole for this race. Ethan will start alongside him in second place. On the second row, we got Mr. Rage here starting with Claire alongside him. Then we got third row Nick starting with the Mercedes of Mikey alongside him. Serious Mushroom on the fourth row of the grid starting alongside with him would be Vintage. And then with the Ferrari behind in ninth. That's Maddie there starting there. Let's see what that's going to work out. Some very impressive lap times. 108.5 down to 109.4. Very impressive in terms of the gap that we kept between each other. So let's head on over to the race session itself and see how that is going to go here right now. Okay, so getting started with the formation lap here right now, it looks like it's going to be a 35 lap race here for the Canadian Grand Prix for PGL F1 racing for the Sunday division. So let's have a look at our starting grid as it is there right now. We got Beefy starting on pole with this one here. Then we got, put tires on as well. We got Ethan starting second on the grid. We got Mr. H starting third behind his teammate there. Leclerc is going to start fourth. We got Nick is going to start fifth. Mikey will start sixth in the Mercedes. Serious Mushroom starts seventh in the McLaren. Vintage starts eighth in the AlphaTauri. Maddie there starts ninth. Neil starts 10th. Sofdar will start 11th. Vans Racing will start 12th. We got Red Devil starting 13th. Scooby starts 14th. Walker will start 15th on the grid. Dan Murphy starts 16th, and Robbie there will start 17th on the grid. So looks pretty good for the grid as it is there right now. Qualifying was actually pretty interesting, and it's going to be quite an interesting race start. I definitely think it's going to be here. So let's see how that's going to go. Looks like it's going to be fully dry for the race so far. I'm not sure if there's any race scheduled for later on in the session. We're going to see how that's going to go. We're going to switch this on over. We can see the tires that are starting on there right now. Mix of strategies. I'm going to switch it on over to position changes for the start of the race. You guys can have a look at that as we do get started with the race there itself. And before we do get started, let's have a quick look here right now as the constructor standings as it is. We got Red Bull leading with 249 points. Alfa Romeo in second right now, 219 points. Mercedes in third, 154 points. Renault in fourth with 104 points. Ferrari fifth with 99 points. Haas behind of them with 96 points, pretty close off. And then Williams in seven, 89 points. AlphaTauri currently 69 points in eighth. McLaren, actually, there's a bit of a difference. I'm not even sure that's correct. McLaren has 70 points. I think there's going to be a switch between them. Racing Point in 45 points. Maybe a bit of an error there. We'll have a look at that later on. We'll probably have a look at the driver standings in a bit later on in the race. If we do have a safety car, we'll probably have a look at it then and see what's happening with that as well. I think it's quite close between our top two for the Drivers' Championship as it is. Alright, so we're about to get started with this race here. Hopefully not a glitching lobby. Let's have a look. Alright, we're about to get started right now. Let's have a look on board with Ethan right now and see how close it's going to be between him and Beefy for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix. And we got the lights already starting to go out. Engines being revved, and there we go. A bit of better start from Ethan there as he might get a better go into turn one than Beefy, but Beefy's trying to take the race lane already. Let's see if he goes through, and they keep the positions as it is so far. The rest of the grid trying to get on through, trying to avoid collision as much as they can, and trying to keep an eye on most of the grid. Some contact between that Mercedes of I think Mikey and Leclerc in the Racing Point there as they get on through. I think the entire and we got Red Bull into the wall. I think that might be Walker there. Yep, it was, and I think he might have some collision with Robbie there down at the back of the grid, and they're going to get back going, and that's going to be some significant damage to both cars, especially Walker's car. They're losing the entire front wing. He's going to have to get back into the pits and get that repaired, and that's going to be a full safety car for that incident there, because that's a lot of debris on track there right now and going on through. So opening lap of the race before the end of Sector 1, I think that incident happened there. And now we're going to get back going here. So let's get position changes back onto tires as it is. So obviously no DRs will be online anytime soon. We're still on the opening lap. I don't know why it says lap 2 there. So let's leave that from that. It's going to sort itself out in just a bit. So we will see some pit stops happening on the opening lap here. Some cars do have damage on that opening lap, taking some damage on minor contact, some major contact as well, especially with Robbie and Walker down in the back of the grid. I'm not sure who's at fault with that one, but we didn't really catch that on camera too much to see what happened. But the rest of it getting on through. We're going to have some pit stops happening for some of these cars here. Let's see what change is going to happen with them. But Beefy still leads the race with Ethan still running in second, Mr. H running in third still, Nick there in fourth, Mikey in fifth, Serious Mushroom in sixth, Sofdar 7, Maddie 8, Vintage 9th, and Neil currently in 10th as it is right now and running. The grid might be changing up a bit down at the back as cars will be doing pit stops as well. So we're still following all under the safety car. We're now currently into lap 2 as it is there. Let's have a quick look if we can at the driver standing. So far as it is, unfortunate for Walker right now because he's currently leading the Drivers' Championship with 137 points. Mikey currently in second right now with 134 points. So it's just about a 3-point difference between the two of them. But Mikey is running much of a better position, I think, in the race here right now because he's up to 5th, whereas Walker is down to 15th and has a penalty as well. Probably has a penalty for speeding in the pit lane or something, I'm not sure. Then we got Mr. Rage, currently third in the driver's standings with 120 points. He's not too far off behind. Beefy in fourth right now, 110 points. Ethan there with 99 points. in 5th. We got DTBS currently 88 points in 6th. Haven't seen him racing a bit. Maddie there 7th with 84 points. Vintage in 8th, 25 points. Nick in 9th with 25 points. Jay Kelly in 10th with 18 points. Scooby in 11th with 6 points. Dan Murphy with 12. Right now in 7 points he has. And I think that's it for points so far for the driver standings at least. So let's see how this is going to work out for Walker. Definitely looking to make some extra points in this race, but not looking too good from the start so far. This started pretty way far away down in the grid due to getting knocked off of qualifying. But let's see how the rest of the race is going to go on for him. We're waiting for that safety car to be over, which it should be going back in by the end of this current lap that we're on here, lap 3 at the moment. So hopefully by the start of lap 4, we're going to get back to racing. Let's see how that's going to go as everyone's going to get back sorted through the grid right now. So I think all the pit stops have now finished. Let's have a look at what penalties have happened there. So it's a 5-second penalty for Walker, 5 seconds for Robbie. And not sure what exactly get the penalties for, but I want to switch off the screen right up to have a look at that. So gaps are pretty close up between all of the cars, and we're going to get back our rolling start in just a bit. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us on, welcome on to the stream. Thanks for joining. But please make sure you guys leave a like on the stream. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. Just got started with this Canadian Grand Prix safety car on the opening lap. Bit of an issue between Walker and Robbie there on the race start that caused the safety car. I'm not sure if any other driver was involved in that. We did have quite a few pit stops happening on that opening lap there as well. So as it stands right now with the grid behind the safety car, we got BV still leading. We got Eaton up in second, running straight right where he started. Let's have a look at the position change that happened. Mr. Rage right there in third where he started. Nick is up 1 position. Mikey up 1 position there in 5th. CS Marshall running 6 up a position. Sabdar up 4 positions there in 7. Maddie there up 1 position there running 8. Vintage is down a position right now running in 9th. Neil right there where he started in 10th. Red Devil running 11th. And he's up 2 positions. Dan Murphy in 12th, up 4 positions from the race start. Scooby there 13th, he's up 1 position. Leclerc is down 10 positions from the race start. There had a bit of issue, took a pit stop, and down to 14th right now. Walker there right there in 15th right where he started. Robbie there up 1 position from where he started down in 17th. And Van Racing is down 5 positions from where he started. I think we're only in 12th somewhere. So that's the grid as it stands right now, and let's see what's happening. We're still following on behind the safety car, so it looks like we're going to go 1 more lap under the safety car, and then we can get this race on the way back again. So we're going to have to wait until the end of lap 4 before we do get back started with the safety car. But still quite an interesting qualifying session we did go through with the league so far for the full qualifying session. Race start did expect to have a safety car or a VSC happen because it does get a bit intense with race starts here at Canada. And we do have 1 more stream tomorrow to do at Canada as well, so I want to see how that one is going to go as well. Maybe do a bit of comparison, see what's happening. So yeah, quite an interesting start. Top few drivers still have their positions. A lot of drivers gain positions here. A bit of an incident on the start, so unfortunate for that. With our current driver standings, Walker is leading, but still going to need to get into the points here to try and keep that championship alive. Otherwise, I think Mikey might be getting past him if he gets more points here. We're going to see, because it's just a 3-point difference right now between the two of them. So we're going to see how that works out. And we're just waiting to get to the end of lap 4 right now to get back started here. And we should see that notification on race control come on screen right about now that the safety car is going to go in. And there it is. So race control is confirming our safety car is going to go in. We're going to back racing at the end of this lap. Alright, so let's see how this restart is going to go. That safety car is going to start to go off into the distance. BP is going to slow their grid down just a little bit and try to keep them behind him. He's going to try and get a pretty quick start to get away from Eaton if he can on the race start. Let's keep a look on board right now. As you can see, he's taking his time to get around the final turn, and that's why he's going to get on the power and get back as fast as he can. And there he goes there right now, as if we're coming down behind us. Let's have a look as they get around turn 1. Oh, and we got a car down at the back. That's Neil into the pit wall there, having a bit of an issue, and that's going to be yellow flag in that sector, and hopefully they can clear that up before we get around back the track and not cause a VSC just after the safety car here. So that's Neil, unfortunately, out of the race. He's gone straight into the barriers of the pit wall. I'm not sure what caused that, if he lost the rear coming off the final turn, or if he had a bit of a bump from the car behind him. I'm not sure as yet. So we're going to see how that works out for him. But so far the race is still on the way and going here right now, with 4 tenths between Beefy and Eaton for the lead. Another 5 tenths from Mr. Rage behind, and about a similar gap in most of the cars following on through here right now. Robbie pretty close up between Leclerc, I think, and Leclerc is out down at the back of the grid. I'm not sure what's happened there, but Leclerc is out. I think he had a bit of a contact with Robbie there, and Vans Racing might have been involved. I'm not sure, but he seems to be a bit further ahead. But I think Leclerc and Robbie had a bit of a contact there that caused that to happen. That's another yellow flag there in Sector 2 right now. That should be cleared up by the time we get back around. Let's have a look and see how that's going to go. Well, so far, so good here with the race start. Serious Mushroom looking to get by the Mercedes of Mikey there right now. Red Death with a 3-second penalty there at the moment. And I can see Leclerc's car is still stuck on track. Hopefully that is taken care of by the time the cars get back around there. Serious Mushroom, a pretty close gap he has behind Mikey right now. So he's definitely looking to get by that Mercedes. Let's see if he's able to do it though. Out in front, Mr. Rage getting a pretty close gap on his teammate here. So let's see if there's going to be a switch between the Alfa Romeo drivers here or not. Because they're pretty close off together. So I'm not sure if they're racing each other or they're running on strategy here at the moment. But that is an extremely close gap between those two drivers. Down back to Serious Mushroom here, running here in P6. He's trying to catch up to Mikey and trying to get past him if he can. Getting at the end of lap 6 right now. So let's see if this is going to be. We lost 2 drivers from this race so far. Out in front, Mr. Rage and Ethan seems to have done a switch. Mr. Rage is up to 2nd place in the race now. Ethan is down to 3rd. I'm not sure if that was a voluntary switch or not. But let's see how it's going to go. Beefy getting the fastest lap. Mr. Rage now switching, getting the fastest lap. And Mr. Rage is trying to catch up to Beefy as much as he can there right now. I think that's what the switch might have been about. They're trying to put the faster Alfa Romeo out in front to catch up to the race leader at the moment. And let's see if he's going to be able to do that or not. Gap is down to about 6 tenths, so he seems to be doing a pretty good job so far of catching up to Beefy there. So Beefy is going to be under some pressure pretty soon off of that Alfa Romeo coming behind, and both of them are behind each other coming, so not a good idea for him to keep Mr. Rage in his DRS range at this point here right now. Needs to get him out of that if he can. And it's an extremely close gap between our top few cars, top 8 cars as we have it here right now. Down in the back, Scooby and Vintage, I think, switching positions here. Vintage might be looking to get back that position if he can, but losing some time already there, so it doesn't look like he's going to get back that. Dan Murphy here in 10th, trying to get ahead of Walker, but that's a pretty close gap to Walker, but still, he's losing some time now. Gap is increased by about 2-3 tenths, and going out in front. Let's get back on in front of Mr. Rage here, chasing after Beefy. Down the pit straight they go. DRS advantage and overtake. He's using everything he has right now, trying to keep up with the Red Bull and even getting faster slaps. So let's see how that's working out. Of course, he's caught up pretty closely, but does need to try and get past. Needs a gap to get an overtake done with. Savdar and Serious Mushroom fighting it off for P6 in the race down in the back here. So we're going to keep an eye and see how that's going as well. Let's have a look at Serious Mushroom here at the moment, see what's happening. And that gap might be going and coming just a bit, so having a look at Serious Mushroom using his DRS advantage, really trying to keep as close as he can to Softar here. Hopefully going to get some advantage on the next DRS zone coming up. That is currently Robbie now with the fastest lap. Vintage into the pit stop in the back of the grid there, as we can see. Let's see how he's going out front here at the moment. So Mr. Rage getting pretty close up behind Beefy right now, using the slipstream, trying to get past, and he's going to take it on the outside of turn 1. Let's see if he's going to get that overtake done. Beefy's going to brace him off on the inside and try to keep him from getting that overtake done. And he looks like he might get it. A bit of contact between the two cars. They're going side by side still at the exit of turn 2 into turn 3. Let's see how that's going to go. And doesn't look like it might end too well if they get in major contact with each other. But Mr. Rage down back to 2nd place. Beefy got back the lead. Hasn't given that up. He's going to fight that pretty well. Ethan coming just about 4 or 5 tenths behind these guys, watching on as the battle unfolds in front. I think he's just going to be sitting there and waiting to see if these two make a significant mistake to try and get an advantage and get out into the lead if he can. But really not a good position for Beefy to have both Alfa Romeos chasing after him here right now. And for the lead of the race to be more specific with that there. So he needs to be very careful at this point here right now, because both cars pretty close up behind, and looks like Mr. Rage and Ethan might be trying to race each other a bit as well. If Ethan thinks he's faster, he might try to get ahead and see if he can get ahead of Beefy. So let's see how this is gonna go. They might do another switch if Mr. Rage is not able to get a job done. But that's a significantly close gap at this point in the race here right now, and Mr. Rage using that slipstream as much as he can, not able to get alongside the Red Bull as yet, but right up to the rear of that car. And just another 4 or 5 tenths. We do have Ethan still behind of this battle coming on through. This battle might be going all the way to the end of the race, I'm not sure. They're running on the same strategy right now. And Ethan gets a penalty, Nick gets a penalty, and 3 more penalties down in the back of the grid as well as we get on through the race. Unfortunate for those penalties. Ethan's going to be possibly losing a podium position with that penalty. There's going to be a 3-second penalty for him. DRS advantage on Mr. Rage's end here right now, so let's see how that's working with him and if it's going to help him get by that Red Bull. Beefy is under some significant pressure here right now though, and we still got about 25.5 laps left to go in this race. So he has still quite a way more to go before he's even able to get to the end of the race, and he's going to be hoping the race comes to an end pretty soon at this point, but that's not happening anyway. So we're going to see how the pit stops happen between them, if they're going to be following each other into the pits. And looks like Mr. Rage's car is harvesting energy at the moment there, so should be a bit slower, but still using the DRS advantage down the pit straight here to try and keep up as much as he can. As you can see, lost a bit of time, down about 5 tenths right now. Software falling down a few positions. Oh, he's into the pits there right now. My bad on that one there. So we got Mike getting as well into the pits. So those cars on the soft tires will be doing an earlier pit stop at this point. Those on the mediums might try to pull off a one-stop strategy in the race and try to push it as much into it as they can. I think as long as they can make it somewhere to lap 14, 15, they can do about a stop there going on to the hard tires to go to the end. Might actually push it maybe up to lap 16 or so to go to the end on the hard tires. We'll see how that goes. They're going to push it as much as they can. I think this is all about strategy for between Beefy and Mr. Rage here right now. So it's going to be quite interesting to see if Mr. Rage is able to get the overtake done during the pit stops here at the moment. We're going to have a pretty good in lap, and Beefy will try his best to have possibly the best outlap when he does get out back of the pits, if he does pit first. We'll see Mr. Rage is going to be the first to do a pit stop here. I'm not sure as yet, but quite a few penalties on track here right now, as we can see. Car's getting pretty close off to that wall of champions here, so hopefully no incidents through that. Nick here in 4th place is getting pretty close up behind Ethan right now, so he's looking to lose that position. And we can still see the battle unfolding out in front of them. Walker is now up into 7th place in this race. Surprisingly, he's up to... So actually, now I can't say that surprisingly. He's a pretty good driver, and I guess he's adjusted to his wheels much more as well. So up into 7th right now, and he's running pretty good. Mikey down to 9th in the race, unfortunately. Done a pit stop, although Walker had to do an earlier on pit stop. Gap is about 3 tenths right now between Ethan and Nick here, and that's for 3rd place in the race. I think both of them do have a 3-second penalty as it is. Walker getting a penalty there down there in 6th as well. So quite a few penalties. Have a look at penalties right now, see where we're at. So not too bad, except for Red Devil. Not too bad with the penalties, but 17 seconds of penalties for Red Devil. That's not going to go over too well. He is down in 15, down in the back of the grid running at the moment. His teammate Leclerc is out of this race. We're still following on here right now with Nick and Ethan. 5 tenths, about 6 tenths the gap is between them. Mr. Rage and Beefy, that gap has extended to about 7 tenths right now. And Walker getting ahead. We got some pit stops happening there. Serious mushroom into the pits. Walker up to 5th in this race now. And he does have Maddie and Dan Murphy coming behind him. A 5-10 gap between the two of them. Out in front, Mr. Rage is losing time right now, as Beefy is now keeping him out of DRS range. So that's not good on his end. Let's have a look what's happening. Oh, actually go back to Dan Murphy. I think he's trying to get by the Ferrari of Maddie here right now. Might be able to do this. Let's have a look. He's going to have the DRS advantage here right now. He's going to take it alongside that Ferrari. And he's going to get by quite easily as well. And he gets up into 6th place. That's Maddie down to 7th now on the grid. I don't think he'll be able to get that back right away. Safdar here in 11th is running just behind the Mercedes of Scooby right now. 4/10 is a gap. Let's see if he's able to get that position back up or not. Back up to Mr. Rage here in 2nd place in the race. Gap is up to 1.2 seconds between him and Beefy, and he's losing some significant time here right now. And he does have a penalty, so he's feeling the pressure at the moment. Let's have a look at that penalty. It's a 3-second penalty, but still, Beefy running out front in clean air and doesn't have any penalties at the moment. So this race is looking to go his way so far, and the gap is now up to 1.1 seconds, which means he's keeping Mr. Rage in that Alfa Romeo out of his DRS range, and that's an advantage to him there. Of course, a disadvantage to Mr. Range right now. Of course, his teammate is now out of that DRS range as well. So both Alfa Romeos not having the best of races here, but still running 2nd and 3rd in the race, as it is Nick running there in 4th, about 7/10 behind. We have a few pit stops happening down in the midfield of the grid. That's going to change the order up just a bit. We'll see how that's going. Let's go on down to Nick here, chasing after Ethan. Let's see what that battle is going on through. Because on to lap 14 right now, we're going to start to see our race leaders start to do a pit stop pretty soon. Within the next 3 to 4 laps, I assume they're going to be getting into the pits. But let's see, I think they're kind of waiting on each other to see who's going to be doing the pit stop first. Gap is down to about 4:10 between Ethan and Nick. He's under some significant pressure right now. Of course, Walker coming behind that, about 5 seconds behind. So let's see if he's able to catch up. And we do have a pit stop from Mr. Rage, so that one Alfa Romeo is into the pits right now. That's the lead Alfa Romeo into the pits. Ethan now running in 2nd place in the race. Of course, they were too close off to do a double stack on those Alfa Romeos in the pits, so probably a good idea to have Mr. Rage pit first. And he's going on to the soft tires here right now with about quite a way more to go in the race. So is he doing a 2-stop strategy here right now? It seems like that's what's going on, because he's only done 15 laps on those mediums. He's gone onto the softs now. Probably going to do about 10 laps on those and then go on to our next set of softs, which I'm assuming is what the strategy is. Let's see what strategy his teammate is going to run when he does go into the pits. Gap is about 2.1 seconds right now between Beefy and Ethan though for the lead. So let's see how that's going. It looks like Ethan is catching up just a bit though. He's gaining and losing a bit of time, about a 10th or 2. Gap is now up to over a second between Ethan and Nick. I'm trying to have a look out front. Robbie has retired from the race, and that's caused a safety car. That's something's happened on track with him. And there's his car on track there right now, down there in sector 1. So that's caused a safety car, which has caused the race leaders to go into the pits, and this is going to save them some time on their pit stops here right now. So race leader BP is into the pits, going onto the soft tires to go to the rest of the race, and let's see how much he's going to be able to pull off on that. Ethan going on the soft tires as well as Nick here. So quite an interesting strategy they're running. So it looks like our guys are planning a 2-stop strategy for this race. Looks like it's going to be a medium soft strategy. At least I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. We're going to see what the situation is going to be here as we get further into the race. By the time we get to lap 25 and 26, if they don't do a pit stop then I guess they're probably trying to push this off to the end, but I assume they won't be doing that, because they would have pitted much later on the mediums if they were trying to pull off such an aggressive strategy. So it looks like it's going to be a 2-stop strategy for those running on the mediums. Either way, let's see how that's going to work out. So, grid order as it is, our racers have taken their pit stops. We got Ethan back out in 2nd behind Beefy, who's leading the race under the safety car. Nick back out into 3rd. We got Mr. Rage now running in 4th. Dan Murphy running 5th. We got Walker running 6th. We got Mikey running 7th. Maddie running 8th. Sofdar in 9th. We got Serious Mushroom in 10th. Scooby in 11th. Vans Racing 12th. Vintage 13. And Red Devil currently running in 14th on the grid right now. So not too bad with the positions as we have it. On lap 16 right now, still under the safety car. Probably a lap or 2 more to go under that before we do get back racing. Okay, so let's see where we're at right now. On lap 17 currently, still on the safety car following on through. Looks a bit cloudy on track, to be honest, right about now. So hopefully, I'm not sure if there's going to be any drizzle down to the end of this session here. We'll see how that's going to go, but yep, that's been an interesting race so far. Second safety car of the race. We had a safety car in the opening lap, and second safety car here. We got a safety car about to go back into the pits, and we're about to get back racing here. Oh, a bit of contact between Ethan and Beefy there, I think. I don't think they took any damage, but getting a bit close between them could have caused a penalty to Ethan's side there. Alright, so they're about to get back racing. Let's see what's going to happen out front between race leader Beefy and we got Ethan there in second. That's quite a lot of weaving on track there for Beefy's end. Really trying to get those tires up to temperature to get back racing here. And quite excited to see how the rest of the second half of the race is about to go. So we're about to get back racing here right now. Back onto it. We already have Ethan on the overtake, putting that on as much as he can. Trying to keep up Beefy through turn 1. Let's see how that's going. So far so good. But Nick is trying to keep up with Ethan as much as he can, getting on through the opening few turns of the lap. So far it seems pretty well getting on through. I think everyone's got through pretty well. Usually restarts after a safety car do tend to go pretty well. We'll see how it's going to go with the rest of the race though. But Ethan back up right now, 5 tenths behind Beefy. Let's see how that battle is going to go on through. Walker and Dan Murphy switching positions here. Walker's up to 5th right now in the race. Dan is down to 6th, as we can see. Scooby getting a 3-second penalty. So far so good for restart. So let's have a look back out front, see what's happening here, because gaps are still a bit close. Vintage pretty close after Vans racing down in the back, but out front 7-10 the gap is between race leader Beefy and Ethan in second. Nick keeping his car about 4 tenths behind that. Mr. H already starting to fall out of that DRS range, which is going to come back online pretty soon. So he needs to keep himself within a second. On top, a few cars are actually keeping themselves pretty well so far. We're going to go down to Maddie here in P8 right now, chasing after Mikey there for 7th place in the race. Let's see how well that's going. Beefy getting the fastest lap so far. That might be switching around a bit as they continue getting around. And Red Devil getting another 3-second penalty. So we have quite a few penalties handed out for this race so far. We're on lap 19 right now of 35 and getting on through. So we still got a bit of weight more to go in this race. We're going to see how that works out, especially for the strategy road where the cars in the top 6 are running there at the moment, as well with Maddie there in 8. Want to see how that strategy is going to work out for these guys. Seems to be quite an interesting one. Getting back up here with Beefy, Ethan, and Nick. Let's see what's happening with them. I'm going to go down to Mr. Rage actually and have a look at him, because he has about a 6-10 gap between him and Nick. Ethan trying to keep as close as he can to Beefy there right now. Really trying to keep that gap as close as possible. But Mr. Rage here looking to get by Nick right now. Down that straight they go. Using his overtake as much as he can. Looks like he's getting into the slipstream and is probably going to keep it behind him going through that turn, final turn of the track. And didn't want to risk it. Trying to play it a bit safe here right now. Nick getting very close after Ethan as well. DRS is now back online, so that's going to be a bit of an advantage to them. Let's have a look between Ethan, Nick, and Mr. Rage what's happening, because it's quite close between the 3 of them. This might allow Beefy to try to get away a little bit further ahead if he can. 7/10 gap is what he has right now. Now 5/10 of a second between him and Ethan. Ethan's trying to keep up, even though he does have Nick coming pretty close up behind. Just hoping that his teammate Mr. Rage will help out with that situation as it is and try to get by the AlphaTauri if he can. Because I think that's going to be the only thing to help out Ethan here, to try to catch up and keep up with Beefy out in front. They have a bit of an advantage now that that safety car came out. That's put them right up to within a second of Beefy's Red Bull. So he needs to keep that gap within 5 tenths if he wants to. And that's a bit of lock up there from Nick's end. Let's see if this is going to go on through. DRS advantage now comes alive for Ethan, Nick, and Mr. H. Walker seems to be out of the DRS range there for Mr. H, so trying to get within that range if he can. Let's see how that works out for him, but he's still up in a good position in the race there, running in 5th. Mikey down to 7, who's 2nd in the championship right now. Walker leading the championship up in 5th. We're looking at getting some significant points there as well. We'll see how the penalties work out though, because Mikey currently doesn't have any penalties at the moment, so that might actually prove to be a bit of an advantage for him finishing off this race, and it's going to be quite close between the 2 of them with the driver standings for the championship as well, and see how that goes. So we'll have a look at that as well later on. Mr. Rage though getting pretty close up behind Nick right now. He's definitely looking to try to get by to help his teammate out in front, because Nick is falling back a little bit right now out of the DRS range of Ethan, so that's going to be holding up Mr. Rage at the moment. He needs to get that overtake done and get ahead and help his teammate out to try to catch up to Beefy for the lead of the race. And let's see if he's able to do that, because Ethan is trying to keep that gap within a second, and it does seem like he's starting to have a bit of a difficult time keeping that gap as it is. On lap 21 right now of 35 going through, and still a pretty close gap between our top half of the grid. I'm going to go on board right now with Nick here, still ahead of Mr. Rage, and is keeping him out of DRS range right now. He's catching up to Ethan even more. Ethan gets another 3-second penalty. That's not going to go off too well. Let's have a look at that penalty. 6 seconds of penalties right now for Ethan, 3 seconds for Nick, 3 seconds for Mr. Rage, 3 seconds for Walker, and 9 seconds for Dan Murphy. Mikey is looking pretty good right now of getting up a few positions in this race. Let's get on back here and have a look at what's happening out in front with Racing Leader BP and Ethan there in second. The gap is still under a second, and I think Ethan's going to try to keep it there as much as he can. He's going to have to be a little bit worried though about Nick catching up to him. 4 tenths that gap is. Mr. Rage is about 6 tenths behind. He needs to catch him and get past that AlphaTauri and try to help out his teammate there in second place if he can. They need to try and get both cars on the podium if possible. Ethan does have a double amount of penalties now, so that's going to put him a bit at risk. So he needs to get up behind his teammate, and they're possibly going to have to do a switch between the two Alfa Romeos. I'm not sure. Does depend if Mr. H has the pace right now to keep up with him, and they need to keep both cars within a second of Beefy to try and get something done here to maybe even get across the line P1, even though they'll probably still lose that advantage after the race is up, because Beefy doesn't have any penalties right now. Only currently 3 drivers without penalties, and that's Beefy, Mikey, and Vintage right now. Down to Mr. Rage here, trying to get alongside Nick and tries to put it on the inside. A bit of minor contact between them, and looks like he might have actually got that position. Up into third place he goes right now. Nick is now down to 4th in the AlphaTauri, and he's still trying to get by. Let's see if he's able to though. He's keeping pretty close off behind. Gap is up to 5-10, so he's lost some time already there. So Mr. Rage got it overtake done pretty well. He's now going to try to catch up to Ethan, his teammate, and probably try to help him out with that chase that they're having, going down to Beefy out for the lead of the race. Of course, if they do want to if one of them wants to take the win here right now, they're going to have to get both cars ahead of their Beefy's Red Bull, and then one of them will probably have to hold Beefy up and try to create a 3-second gap, and that's going to have to be Mr. Rage going up into the lead. So I'm not sure how the strategy is going to work between the two of them, but let's see how that works out. Ethan and Mr. Rage right now, 2 tenths between the two of them. Looks like Mr. Rage is going to go ahead, and Ethan's going to let him go by. He's going to go up into second place in this race. And that's Ethan down to third right now. They've lost a bit of time though to Beefy out in front. Gap is now 1.1 second as it is. So they need to get a gap back down to under a second to keep in the DRS range. And he's actually gotten that done already, but he's trying to get that done. Hopefully he does get it done. It's about 9 tenths is where the gap is. And Ethan is trying to keep up with his teammate as much as he can. Walker up to P4 in this race right now, ahead of Mikey there, who's in 5th. Sofdar down to 6th. Maddie running 7th. Serious Murphy running 8th. And Scooby currently running in 9th. Murphy in 10th. And gaps are going and coming just a bit. Let's have a look down in the back here at Murphy right now. He's currently chasing after Scooby there for 9th place in the race. We got about 11.5 laps probably left in this race to go here right now. So it's starting to get closer off to the end of the race. So let's see how that's going to go. Scooby under a bit of pressure here right now though from Dan Murphy there in 10th. 4 tenths behind, so he's really trying to get up that position if he can. So let's keep an eye on this battle as it goes on through. Both of them do have penalties, of course, but still could get that overtake done. And it's all about finishing position for these guys, even though they're still working on getting as much penalties, getting as much points as they can, and avoiding the penalties. And there goes the McLaren of Dan Murphy up into 9th. His teammate is ahead of him by about 5.5 seconds. That Serious Mushroom there. So both McLarens running 8th and 9th in this race right now. Both Alfa Romeos running 2nd and 3rd. So not too bad for those teams so far. They're both in the points and running. Walker and Beefy running 1st and 4th on the grid as it is. Walker now about 5 tenths actually. So let's have a look at where he is. So Beefy out front, having Mr. Ray chasing after him here right now. That's about 6 tenths behind, and that's a pretty close gap to work with. We do have Walker though trying to get ahead of Ethan here right now. Looks like he might be getting that done. So I'll have a look at how that's going with him. He's getting up pretty close up behind the Alfa Romeo, but needs to get a good gap to get by right now. So let's see if he's able to do that. Down the back, we can see Nick there in 12th right now, trying to catch up with his teammate Vintage. I might be getting back because he's on fresh soft tires, so he'll probably get that overtake done pretty easily there. We got DRS. Oh, we got a bit of change up. We got Beefy into the pits. Second pit stop here right now, right around lap 25, where we assumed it was going to be. So Maddie in the pits, Beefy into the pits, Mr. Rage into the pits as well. Eating up into the lead of the race. 3 tenths behind is Walker now chasing after him, and Walker loses a car into the barrier as he goes, loses a front wing. This is going to cost him the race here right now. He's going to have to get back into the pits now and do his second pit stop and take a wing change as well, which is going to cost him more time. So that's not going to go off too well for Walker. They're not going to be too happy about that either. Running third at the moment, and is about to get overtaken by Sofdar because he does have a broken wing. He's not going to be able to put up much of a fight with this. And he's going to have to get another pit stop and get that done. Beefy here out after his final pit stop is now running 5th in this race. Let's see what's going to happen when Ethan does his pit stop, because he's going to have to do a pit stop as well. He's on the soft tires, will have to do a pit stop. Mikey and Sofdar running 10 laps on those mediums so far. They probably can push off another 10 laps. We'll see how that goes with them, but I think those tires are going to get pretty worn by the time we get to about lap 33. Maybe actually no, I think they can actually pull it off. I don't know. It seems possible at this point. You can probably push those laps to the tires to the end, but I'm not sure if they're going to. Let's see how that's going to work. So Ethan now into the pits. We got Mikey now up into P1 leading this race. Sofdar is now running in 2nd. Beefy now running 3rd behind these guys, 7.8 seconds, and he's on the fresh soft tire, so definitely he'll be able to catch up either way and probably get past both of them before the end of the race, even if they stay out, because they're going to be losing a lot of grip on those tires as they get by the time they get around to lap 15, 16 on the tires itself, and that's going to take them to lap 33. They could possibly take it to the end of the race on those tires there. But let's see if they're going to take a chance and push it through, because Beefy is going to have to work pretty hard now and try to catch up to them. But there's a pretty good chance that these guys might be doing a pit stop out front. Let's see what's going to happen. 3.1 seconds is what the gap is between Mikey and Sofdar for P1, P2. 6.3 seconds is what the gap is between Sofdar and Beefy now. Beefy has done his final pit stop on the fresh soft tires and running. Mr. Rage coming behind him about 8 tenths. Has that DRS advantage, so he's going to keep up with him going on through. And let's see how that's going to work going to the end. It's cutting it pretty close here right now. We're on lap 27. We're going to get into lap 28 here as Mikey is about to get across the line from lap 28. This is definitely going to be a bit close coming down to the end. Let's see how that's going to go, because that gap is breaking down pretty quickly. Ethan is keeping up with Beefy as much. Sorry, so Mr. Rage is keeping up with Beefy as much as he can. Ethan is trying to keep up with Nick right now. And side by side, these two go through turn 1. And let's see, looks like Mr. Rage is getting ahead of Beefy here right now. He's trying to find it around the outside. Might have lost that position. Beefy is down to 4th. That's Mr. Rage up into 3rd right now. He's gotten the position up onto a podium place. He's going to chase after Sofdar now. Gap is about 4.8 seconds. And these two guys are pushing like crazy in this race. So they're definitely going to be catching up to both Sofdar and Mikey and try to get ahead of them. Of course, there is a 4.4 second gap between Mikey and Sofdar, but they're breaking the gap down pretty quickly between themselves and Sofdar. So Sofdar might be losing that position pretty easily. If they're not doing a pit stop, I'm not sure how that's going to work out as yet. 12 laps done on the tire so far. We still got about another 7.5 laps to go. And that's going to put them at least about 19 to 20 laps on those mediums if they can pull it off. And that's a tough call at this point on the track here. So I'm not sure if those two guys are really going to be pushing towards taking those tires to the end of the race. They might be trying to pull off that strategy depending on how much wear they have on the tires. I'm not sure as yet. We'll see how well they're able to keep it going, because Mr. Rage is gaining some time right now. Beefy has lost some time. What's happened to him? I'm not sure if he took any damage on the car. Doesn't seem like he has any damage, but he has lost some time. The gap is now 1.8 seconds between him and Mr. Rage, who has a penalty, so needs to get rid of that gap currently to get the way with a penalty. Oh, and he has 9 seconds of penalty, so Might be why Beefy is not fighting it too hard right now, but still, might want to keep as close as he can to that other from way in front of him. Softar only has a 3-second penalty. Mikey has no penalties at this point here. So Mikey is looking pretty good at getting a good position in this race. We're going to see how that works. So Walker, unfortunately, out of the race. I think he might have retired in the pits. Let's bring this back to tires and see what's happening. So 13 laps so far, lap 29 right now, when Mikey and Softar P1, P2 on this race. Mr. Rage running there, P3 of 1.6 seconds behind. So it looks like he's going to be able to get up into second place. Will be losing it, of course, if he doesn't keep a gap of 9 seconds between him and the car, but 6 seconds between him and Softar, because Softar has a 3-second penalty. So might still be able to get a podium position in this race here. Might just be able to get it. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Gap is down to under a second right now between Mr. Rage and Softar, so getting much and much closer. Softar is looking to lose second place here right now and gets another penalty as well. Gap is actually still a bit constant between Mikey and Softar, though 4.5 seconds is what it is. Mr. Rage definitely pushing as much as he can. He knows there's not a lot of laps left in this race. Just about 5 laps or so to go, 5.5 laps to go here. So he needs to push on through, and he's going to take it on the inside here right now, try to get it on through, and looks like he gets the position up. Into second place in the race he goes. 4.7 seconds is what the gap is between him and Mikey in the lead right now. So let's see how that is going to work out. Beefy there in fourth is definitely going to be looking to get by Softar as well, 1.4 seconds behind. Let's see how much he's going to be pushing towards that. Eaton there running in 8th right now, trying to get past Serious Motion. Let's have a look at that battle in a moment as it's going on through. Maddie just behind that as well. He's pretty close up. That's Eaton and Serious Motion going side by side into the final turn here right now. Eaton gets the position up. That's the McLaren of Serious Motion down to 8th right now. Maddie about a 10th behind, and he's going to try to go side by side with the McLaren as well and get by, and he's on fresh soft tires as well. Serious Motion running on very old hard tires right now, so a bit of a disadvantage to him on that, but still 9th in the race as it is going on through. Still going to get some points here. So Eaton is up into 7, Maddie's up to 8. They're still chasing after each other as it is there right now. 5/10 is the gap between them. Out in front, Beefy has now a 5:10 gap between him and Softar. Let's have a look at how that's going for him. So he's going to try to get up into 3rd place and get himself onto a podium position here. He has no penalties still in this race. Gap is about 3 seconds between Mr. Rage and Mikey there, out for the lead at the moment. We're on lap 31. So it's looking pretty good so far for Mr. Rage to get up into the lead, but will he be able to get a gap big enough to keep the race win is what the question is right now. I don't think he might. He might be able to get it back down to 2nd. We'll see how it goes if he's able to keep a podium position here or not. So pretty close gap between Beefy and Softar right now. Beefy's going to take it on the inside into turn 1, and looks like he's going to quite easily get that done. He gets up into 3rd place onto a podium position right now. That's going to unfortunately put Softar down to 4th, and he does have a penalty either way, so he was going to be losing that position. So far so good in this race. Has got to say, it's been much more interesting getting to the second half of the race here, with position being fought for coming down to the end. Mikey running a pretty interesting strategy. Still 16 laps done on those tires. Has another 3.5 laps more to go. Looks like he's going to be able to pull it off. But will he be able to keep Mr. Rage there down into 2nd? It looks like he's still going to get a race win either way, because Beefy will be able to move up into 2nd place in the race. And it looks like Mikey still will get the race win, but Mr. Rage might be moving down to 3rd place. That will be a bit dependent on what the gap is between him and Softar, because Softar does have a penalty. I think 2 penalties actually. Let's have a look at that right now. So he needs a 3-second gap between him and Softar. I think he might quite close to actually having that, and might be able to finish on the podium still. Going to be a close call between them for that, and Dan Murphy now gets up into 4th place in the race ahead of the Haas there of Softar. So unfortunate for him, he loses another position. Let's get back to tires. So those old tires are probably starting to wear away from him right now. How Mikey is actually able to keep that car 2.3 seconds ahead of Mr. Rage right now, I'm not sure, but he's doing a pretty damn good job of it, and he needs to do it for another 2.5 laps in order to keep the race win and go across the line P1 itself. But either way, he's going to get a race win, but still I think he wants to get across the line P1, so he's going to try to hold up that gap as much as he can. Let's go on out in front and have a look here right now, see what's happening. So Mr. H is catching up. 2.2 seconds where the gap is at. And 7 laps he's done on those soft tires so far. So has the faster tires on. Mr. H will start to feel the wear on those tires right about now. Gap is now down to 1.9 seconds as it is. As you can see, gap is now down to 1.5 or 1.6 seconds, so it's keeping a bit constant between that. Let's see, we got about a lap and a half left for Mr. Ray to try and get his overtake done if he wants to get across the line P1. So they're quite close. Let's get down to Maddie here, though, chasing after Nick there for P6. And let's bring penalties on so you guys can have a look at the penalties and see what that is at. Like, oh, and we got Mr. Ray to 12 seconds of penalties right now. Dan Murphy with 12 seconds of penalty, so it's not looking good for the two of them, especially from Mr. Red finishing on the podium. That might be a definite no at this point here, because it looks like it might be Mikey finishing with a race win. We might have Beefy going for a second there, and looks like it's going to be Sofdar probably moving up into third on the podium. He still will be able to get a podium position here. With the way things are shaping up right now, not looking good. And Scooby and Red Devil, 21, 24 seconds of penalties respectively. Ethan with 15 seconds of penalties. We're really working on the penalty side today in terms of this race. But still, has been quite an interesting race coming up to this point. Coming down to the end, we got a gap of 1.6 seconds between Mikey and Mr. Rage. Mr. Rage not able to close that gap under a second right now, and we're about to go into the final lap at this point. We're following on right now with Maddie Eaton here and see what's happening with these two, because a pretty close gap between Eaton and him. Eaton is looking to get by up into 7th right now, going to take it on the inside into turn 1. Let's see if he gets that done. They're still pushing on through side by side, a bit of minor contact between them, and he gets it wrong. The outside might be able to get it done. Let's see what the Ferrari is still pushing on through right now, and looks like he finally actually got it done. That's eaten up into 7, and a very difficult overtake for him. Maddie down to 8 right now, about 3/10 behind. And Ethan looking to get by Nick at the moment for the 6th position. So he's really fighting his way back up the field. But he knows he has that 15 seconds of penalties to deal with at the end of this race. So he needs to get as much position up as he can here right now. Of course, he does need to avoid getting any more penalties as well. We're into the final lap here right now. We're the race leader Mikey there, running 1.8 seconds ahead of Mr. Rage. As you can see, these guys getting across the line here. Where is Mikey about to get across the line here right now? And he's going to take the race win. That's Beefy getting across the line second, takes 2nd place. And let's see the position change up as everyone gets across the line here right now. Sofdar takes 3rd place on the podium, just behind Beefy there. Mr. Rage currently takes 4th. Dan Murphy currently takes 5th. Let's see if any more switch happens. Nick takes, oh, there's the switch happens. Serious Mushroom goes up to 6th. Nick goes into 7. Maddie takes 8. Ethan currently takes 9th. And that might be, let's see, that might be a switch. Actually, no, he might be able to keep that. Vintage will take 10th. And then it looks like we might have one more switch happen there. Let's have a look if that's going to happen or not. I'm not sure as yet. So Vintage takes 10th in the race. We got Scooby coming across the line right now. Takes 7th. Sorry, 11th. Let's see, where is he? Is he getting across the line as yet or not? I'm not sure where he is. Oh, he still has a lap more to go, I think. Oh, he gets across there now. So that's 11 for him. Red Devil, let's see where he finishes off with that. And that's Van Racing going across the line there. So let's have a look at the final results. But what a race for PGL F1 Sunday Division. That was quite interesting, especially getting on to the second half of the race. And driver of the day goes to Dan Murphy, and that one there, not too bad a race for him either. Let's have a look at the final results here if we can here right now. So exciting race there, guys, from the guys from PGL F1 Racing League for the Sunday division. Very good race, I gotta say. A lot of good battles going on through from the start to the end of the race. Qualifying was quite interesting, but that race session was very interesting going on, especially for the second half, I gotta say. So let's have a look at our final results there right now as it is. Alright guys, so there we have it. So Mikey takes a race win for that one there in Mercedes. That's some good points for him. Beefy takes 2nd place on the podium. Sofdar will take 3rd place on the podium. Mr. Ray takes 4th and fastest lap in the race. Dan Murphy takes driver of the day and 5th position there. Serious Mushroom takes 6th. Nick takes 7th, Maddie takes 8th, Ethan will take 9th, Vintage takes 10th, Scooby takes 11th, Vans Racing finishes 12th, Red Devil 13th, we got Walker 14th, Robbie in 15th, Leclerc 16th, Neil there 17th. And that's it, guys, there for Canadian Grand Prix round 14, I think it was, for of 23 for PGL F1 Sunday Division. Thank you guys for joining on with us. Please make sure everyone leaves a like on the stream before you guys leave, and make sure if you're new onto the channel here, guys, make sure to subscribe. Make sure you check us out tomorrow for the next stream. We should have another league. We haven't streamed for them before, so it should be an interesting race as well. Anyway, that was a lot of fun to watch. Thanks to all the guys who organized that and getting that set up, everything for the league, and allowing me to stream and whatnot. So once again, guys, thank you guys for joining on. Do leave a like. We'll see you guys on the next stream tomorrow.